In order to understand the struggles of the East Side, you have to understand the history of the East Side. There was a time whenever the East Side went further west down to Deep Deuce. If you look at 4th Street now, like the Innovation District, that was a flourishing black community. Now there's no way to even know we were ever there. And if I have anything to do with it, that's not gonna happen here.
This was the first new development, I believe, in like 30 or 40 years. We reached out to over 25 banks and were told categorically no, primarily because of the side of town it was on and the fact that there was no comparables. And when you walk and you see the lack of sidewalks, the lack of infrastructure that has been withheld from this community, I think that there's a long way to go in trying to recognize and then move forward in a way that's generous.
Most of my life, I had actually experienced the decline of Northeast 23rd. This particular opportunity, when he told me about it, I actually looked at him and said, "You sure you want to go on 23rd Street?" Because this is traditionally the heart of the African American community. For 50 years or so, though, for like socioeconomic and political reasons, it's been challenging.
Realizing early on that it wasn't about the design, it wasn't about the architecture, but it was more about how do we activate it. We activate it by homogenizing a little bit of some of the systems that really interact with the street. That was really our goal, was how can we do a lot with a little, and you can do a lot with sidewalks and all those things that connect people to these individuals that are really taking a bigger risk than us as designers or architects.
At Pivot and even with Jeremy, we've worked really hard to save buildings and then update it and turn it into a vibrant retail development. And then not just having minority-owned businesses, but also giving them or setting aside 15% ownership within their space so that they would get to have part of the ownership in the real estate that they help create the value in.
What we want to do is make sure, in addition to bringing in wealth and getting folks to invest, where there's really been a lot of disinvestment, that we're also creating opportunities for folks who exist, for people who are here, to be able to persist and be able to sustain themselves. There are a lot of things that we're doing in partnership with the city where we can work with them. There are a lot of things we're doing in organizing and bringing together different business owners, landowners, community leaders and things from this side of town in ways that I just hadn't seen before.
That's the one thing I love about Oklahoma City and Oklahoma in general. I can just call one person and say, "Do you know such and such?" Yeah, let's bring them together and let's do this. And that's what an EastPoint is. That's what development should be, because you're taking all walks and different journeys to bring them together to make sure you're not leaving anyone out.
I truly see this as an opportunity for this community. Sort of, it's like us being able to plant a flag in the ground and say, like, we're back, and we're back with friends and help, but we are actually about to do something that for a lot of years people just been talking about.
Luckily, we've had someone that said, "I want to do something for that community." Now we need the community to say, "I want to do something for my community." So I'm hoping this will spur the conversation for community to say, okay, now how can we get engaged in developing our community better?
Building these relationships with people that they're kindred spirits and we believe in the same things. There's a humility that is important in our practice. It's more about how can we help shine the light on these entrepreneurs and these retailers that haven't really had a voice or an audience before, but hopefully we can be a part of kind of amplifying what they're interested in doing.
I feel like Gardner probably went above and beyond because they shared the passion that we had for what this project symbolizes, and so did things that you wouldn't necessarily expect a firm to do, because they were doing them as human beings and as part of the community. I mean, they're digging in and sort of getting to understand and know about some of these complex ideas that I'm sharing, and then trying to use that in really caring and thoughtful ways as an expression in the built environment.
Once we are engaged and understand what used to be, where EastPoint is located now, how do we tell that story of what this building used to be? How do we tell the story of what used to be across the street? How do we tell the story of the Ralph Ellison Library? How do we tell those particular individual stories better to make it more inclusive for our communities to celebrate the heritage, celebrate the culture with us?